You shot a 14-year-old child in the back after incorrectly assuming he stole a bottle of water worth at most $1, but I'm willing to hear your side. Closing arguments wrapped up today in the Rick Chow case. Let's do a breakdown. The prosecution started closing arguments by asking a simple question: how much is a life worth? And if I personally had to put a number on it, I would dang sure say it's worth more than a bottle of water. So let's start with what really isn't in dispute. It's not disputed that Cyrus was 14 years old. It's not disputed that he walked into the store owned by the Chow family. It's not even disputed that he went over to where the waters were. It's not disputed that he had a gun on him, although the store owners did not know that at the time, and that's important. Put a pin in it, we'll get to that later, but that's pretty much where the agreement ends. The prosecution says that the Chows assumed that Cyrus, the 14-year-old, stole a bottle of water when he didn't, but I'll even give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they thought that he was acting suspiciously because he picked up a water bottle and put it back, something like that. Look, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but what I do know is there's been no evidence presented that he actually stole any water. I think it's clear he didn't, but they chased him out of the store because they assumed he did. Mind you, according to the evidence, the mama, the daddy, and the son all ran after him. So at this point, they left the store unattended, all three adults, to chase a 14-year-old boy who did not even steal anything. Right. So according to the prosecution, multiple witnesses described Cyrus running so hard that he actually came up out one of his shoes, his phone, his mom's phone. He dropped both of them. He hit the ground hard, scuffed up his body. The prosecution says he fell so hard that the gun that he was carrying actually fell out and a piece of it broke off. They say he picked it back up, he kept running, and he was shot in the back. Now, another thing the prosecution brought up is this store apparently has a whole wall dedicated to alleged shoplifters. They have pictures everywhere, so they even use facial recognition technology so that they can put you in a database. They're super serious about catching shoplifters. Okay, fine. But what happens when you're wrong? Because according to the prosecution, that's exactly what happened here. And at some point during the chase, Andy Chow, the store owner's son, is closer to Cyrus than Rick Chow is. Rick Chow is the daddy. So Andy, the son, says something to the effect of, "Dad, he's got a gun," and then boom, Rick Chow, the dad, fires, shoots, and kills Cyrus. Now let me tell you what I think happened. I think that the Chows deal with a lot of shoplifting, and I think that they're sensitive to it. I think a young black teenager walked into the store wearing a backpack, and they told him to take it off, and he complied. I didn't tell you that earlier. They told him to take his backpack off, and he said yes. And I think right off the bat, they were already suspicious. They were paying close attention to him. So he goes over to the waters, he touches them, he maneuvers them around, but he leaves, and he doesn't buy anything. They see a bulge in his hoodie, and they convince themselves that it's a bottle of water. Now maybe that's because they deal with shoplifters all the time. Maybe racial bias plays a role. I don't know. I'm not in their heads, but I do think they convinced themselves that he stole something when he didn't. As a matter of fact, it's more likely that whatever that bulge was, if that was the weapon, whatever, it was there when he walked into the store. So they go after him. Cyrus, the 14-year-old, notices they're following, and then he takes off running. Now, could Cyrus have stopped running? Sure. But remember, Cyrus had a gun on him, a gun he wasn't supposed to have. He was 14 years old. Personally, I think that's the reason he ran. I think he knew he wasn't supposed to have that gun. He didn't want to get caught with it. So now you have a teenager running as fast as he can, trying to get away. At some point, he runs, he trips, he falls, the gun comes out, and I think this is where it goes wrong. Like, I do think that Andy Chow, the son of the Chows, saw the gun and said, "Dad, he's got a gun." And I think Rick Chow heard that and panicked and shot Cyrus. I think he assumed his son was in danger and fired the gun. The issue, though, is that in trying to protect his son, he killed somebody else's son. He killed Cyrus. Now, obviously, the defense sees things differently, and I want to present their side as well, because their argument is that Cyrus actually pointed the gun at Andy, and therefore Rick, the dad, was defending his son and is not guilty of murder. We'll cover that in the next video.
State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Chike Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chike Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Sign number 302, foreperson, June the 1st, 2026. Madam Forelady, was this your verdict and the verdict of the entire jury?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Thank you.
And from the
The jury just came back not guilty on all counts. Rick Chow is a free man. Let's talk about what the defense argued, because clearly it worked. Defense attorney Sean Kent started out by completely reframing the case. He told the jury this case is not about a bottle of water. It's not about a shoplifter. It's about a father who saw a gun pointed at his son and had to make a decision. And that's really the entire defense in one sentence, if I had to break it down to one sentence. But I'm sure he'll be on socials breaking it down for us in his own words tomorrow. According to Andy Chow, the store owner's son, Cyrus pointed a gun at him. Andy testified that he saw a gun, he yelled, "He's got a gun," and then his father, Rick Chow, fired a shot. And the defense attorney asked the jury a simple question. If Rick Chow wanted to execute this kid over a $1 bottle of water, why wait 130 yards? Why chase him the length of a football field before firing? The defense argued that he did that because something changed, and what changed, according to the defense, is that Cyrus pulled out a gun and pointed it at Andy. Now, here's something important I don't want you to miss. Both sides, the prosecution and the defense, agreed at the charge conference to take lesser includeds off the table. That means the jury had one decision to make: murder or nothing. No manslaughter, no reckless homicide, no nothing else. It was either murder or it was walk free, and they chose walk free. I think the prosecution made a gigantic mistake, and the defense attorneys were completely right to not have any lesser includeds on the table, though who knows, right? Even with the lesser includeds, the jury still could have come back not guilty on all counts. The defense also talked about why the Chows might have been suspicious of Cyrus in the first place and why they might have followed him outside. The defense pointed out that Cyrus didn't have any cash, he didn't have a wallet, and he left without buying anything. Now, I'm personally not persuaded by that. Doesn't matter, I'm not in the jury, but I wasn't persuaded by that because, number one, the Chows didn't know he had no wallet and no money. Also, he's 14 years old and he was carrying his phone and his mom's phone. So you're telling me neither one of those phones had Apple Pay? To me, that wasn't super persuasive, but I also understand that that was not the defense's main point. Their point was really that it was reasonable for the Chows to believe something suspicious was going on. That's when we get to the medical examiner. The medical examiner testified that the bullet entered Cyrus's lower right back, traveled upward, clipped his lung, and went through his heart. On cross-examination, the defense attorneys got her to acknowledge that Cyrus could have been slightly turned to the right when he was shot. Slightly, and that gave the defense room to argue that it was possible that Cyrus was turning back towards Andy when that shot was fired. It's like I said in the other video, I think the jury probably believed that Andy Chow did see a gun because it's undisputed that Cyrus had a gun. I think they believed that. They believed that Andy said, "Dad, he has a gun," and his dad then shot because his dad believed his son was in danger. That's it for this case. And I'm not done talking about the Rick Chow case because I do have a few more things I want to say. Do I think Cyrus Carmack Belton was racially profiled? Yes, wholeheartedly. The moment he walked in, they told him to take his book bag off and they were watching him like a hawk. And we know why. When you look at the news, what image do you see over and over again? Young black boys around Cyrus's age with guns. I know it, you know it, and the defense team knows it. And
I disagree with the state's theory on it's not that big of a deal that kids are going around with guns. I hate it. It is a problem. And it is a problem in this case.
Add to that the fact that the Chows had been stolen from before to such an extent that they felt like they needed facial recognition software and a wall of shame for shoplifters. They were known for going after shoplifters. I think they were on high alert. I think the Chows had all of that in the back of their mind, and whether they want to admit it or not, I think racial bias played a role in this incident. The Chows assumed that Cyrus was there to steal. They assumed that a young black boy, people who look like Cyrus, go into their store and they steal. Now, they were wrong. He never took anything, and they had cameras watching him the entire time. Oh, and I can't leave out the fact that Rick Chow had already shot at 2 other people before. The prosecution would have argued that this demonstrates a pattern of conduct, but they were not able to because the defense attorney successfully argued that if the jury knew that information, it would be too prejudicial to Rick Chow. So the judge excluded the evidence of the prior shootings. I'm saying all that to say this. I think ignoring the role of race in this case is avoiding the elephant in the room. Like, let's keep it a buck. Now, I'm not saying that the Chows hate all black people. In fact, that's not what racial bias is. Case in point, one of their defense attorneys, Sean Kent, is a black man who was very good at his job. I don't think he was hired because he was black. I think he was hired because he wins cases. Go watch his closing argument. It's abundantly clear why he was hired. But do I also think that hiring a black attorney had the added benefit of taking some of the steam out of the argument that the Chows are racist and that's why they killed Cyrus? Well, yes. Another point I'd like to cover is how malice was always going to be difficult to prove in this case. So in South Carolina, murder requires malice. And if you watch the video, Andy exits the store first and then Rick Chow follows behind him. The defense therefore could argue that he wasn't chasing Cyrus to kill him. They argued that Rick Chow was actually just chasing them because he wanted to see what his son Andy was doing. He wanted to know what was going on. So then after Rick Chow shot Cyrus, there was further testimony that after Rick Chow saw Cyrus, he performed CPR on Cyrus, he performed mouth to mouth, and according to the testimony, he was actually spitting out Cyrus's vomit as he was trying to save his life. That taken together with Andy leaving first means proving malice, it just wasn't a slam dunk in this case. So that's why a lot of people are asking, well, why weren't other charges added? Prosecutors stack charges all the time. They'll charge 4 different types of murder. They'll add manslaughter. They'll add every charge in the book so that something sticks. They do it in many, many cases, but they didn't do it here. This murder or nothing strategy was definitely a gamble that worked in favor of the defense. So after all that is said and done, where does this leave the family? A not guilty verdict verdicts cannot be appealed. The criminal case is done. Now, could the current Department of Justice step in and take the case? Yes. Will they? Absolutely not. The family is exploring a civil wrongful death lawsuit, so it does sound like they will be suing the Chow family for the wrongful death of their son Cyrus. And reportedly, the store is no longer owned and operated by the Chows in that neighborhood.
And to the new owner of that Shell gas station,
We are completely new owners of this property and we're not involved in any events that may have occurred prior to our ownership, end quote.
it's fuck you too. The idea that is that personal is just business doesn't exist. You bought a Shell gas station from a murderer. If clearly by the name, I can tell you're not from that neighborhood. You sat there, looked at the numbers, and thought it was a good idea to buy. I'm glad you have to shut down that gas station. I hope the gas station goes out of business because you try to profit over someone's death. I don't give a fuck that you had nothing to do with it. Now you made yourself a part of it by buying the gas station. You're gonna tell me in a predominantly black neighborhood you could have found one black business owner who could have purchased that gas station? Or better yet, turn it into a park. Honestly, keep the protest going because people need to be reminded why Cyrus lost his life. Because let's be clear, Cyrus lost his life because of someone's racist imagination. Because let's be clear, they thought he stole a bottle of water and felt it was appropriate to take his life because of it. And for those who are praising the Chow family, I get it, you're racist, whatever. But would you be saying the same thing if the world were reversed? Let's say Cyrus did take out that pew pew and took out the two grown adults that was chasing him down. Wouldn't that be self-defense? No, but running away and getting shot in the back for supposedly taking a bottle of water, that's defense. Okay.
You're a fucking idiot and an embarrassment to the Asian community for spewing this bullshit. People like you who side with injustice and anti-blackness should be ashamed of yourselves. If you're going to speak on this case, at least speak facts instead of talking out of your ass. As the footage shows, Cyrus took 4 water bottles, changed his mind, and put them back in the fridge. There was no theft. Not only that, but as Cyrus was being chased by those 2 scumbags, multiple items fell from his possession, including his gun. He had no weapon when he was shot, and at no point did he pull a gun on anyone. There was no robbery. There was no assault. Those are the facts. And for the people asking, why does a 14-year-old need a gun? The answer is right in front of you. Because a 14-year-old was shot dead in the streets, despite doing absolutely nothing wrong. He never got the chance to go home. The system continues to fail black people, but especially black children. There is no denying that. When we have case after case showcasing us that. Cyrus Carmack Belton, Latasha Harlins, Trayvon Martin, and countless others. Yes, some of you Asian sellouts would rather bend over backwards, making excuses than confront the reality in front of you. Same people who are quick to say stop Asian hate, or ask what about when black people do this to us, suddenly have every excuse in the world when a black child is the victim. Black people are constantly treated as suspects, criminals, and villains, even when they're the ones who have been harmed. I am disgusted and embarrassed by every single person trying to justify this. 14-year-old should have never lost his life over 4 water bottles worth $1. He deserved to go home. He deserved to grow up. He deserved justice. Not to mention, this was the 3rd time Rick Chow fired his gun during confrontation. And y'all really want us to believe that piece of shit was innocent? Rick Chow is guilty. Justice was not served. 14-year-old child is dead. And people are still trying to make excuses for it. The black community has every right to be angry. Quite frankly, the Asian community needs to stop dodging conversations about anti-blackness whenever they become uncomfortable. We cannot demand solidarity from the black community while refusing to hold our community accountable when harm is done. If it weren't for the black community advocating for civil rights and helping pave the way for many of us for protections and opportunities we benefit from today, Asian Americans would not be where we are. It is only right we use our voices to speak up, stand up against injustice, and hold our own communities accountable when harm is being done. That's what solidarity looks like. There's nothing you can ever say to justify a child losing his life over bottles of water that he didn't even steal. This is unacceptable, and I will continue calling it out every single time. Rest in power, Cyrus Carmack Belton. Justice for Cyrus Carmack Belton and his family.
Indictment number 2023 GS40074440. State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Chike Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chike Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Signed number 302, foreperson, June the 1st, 2026. Madam Forelady, was this your verdict and the verdict of the entire jury?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Thank you. Was this your verdict? 257?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes. How much in the year 2023 does a bottle of water cost at 7441 Park Lane Road in Richland County at the Shell gas station operated by the Chow family? How much does one bottle of water cost?
I'm not sure.
Okay, 98 cents sound about right?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
just round it up to $1. Dollar sound right?
Yes, sir.
Think you took $1 worth of merchandise from your store,
I did think that, yes, sir.
and you were certain of it.
I believed he had taken it, yes, sir.
You strongly believed enough where you left your counter, you left the cash register and ran after it, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you were wrong.
I'm
So Rick Chow has been found not guilty for unaliving the 14-year-old boy Cyrus. Now, ain't no way you can tell me his store is still in business and y'all gonna support him. Ain't no way you can tell me this, because this is the third time this man has done this. In 2015, this guy did the same thing to a lady that stole some beer and peanuts from him. They say he ran out of the store behind the lady and pumed the car she was in 6 times. Thank God nobody got hurt. Then we turn around in 2018, and another man stole some oven cleaner out of his store, out of his convenience store, and he said that the guy assaulted him. He pumed that guy, but guess what? That guy got charged instead of Mr. Chow. Okay, here we go in 2023, when 14-year-old Cyrus comes in the store to get some water or whatever, and he says that Cyrus stole the water. So he chases him out of there so fast, the guy, little man, run out his shoes and everything, and then his weapon falls to the ground. And that's the excuse he gave for unaliving this young man, when no witness said they saw the young man pull any kind of weapon out at him. And I want to say this, now you got, in all these states, it's legal to carry weapons. Y'all have made it that way. But I want to say, in a gas station, I've always had a gas station part-time job back in the day. My manager would always say, do not follow anybody out of the store. All this stuff is insured. That's what she would say. So you mean to tell me this is the owner, Mr. Chow, is the owner of these stores, and he would rather unalive people for stealing little petty items than putting little pictures of them up from the surveillance camera saying this person is not allowed in the store, they're a thief. You know how they do it back in the day. I guess they don't do that anymore. But my opinion in all this, y'all would be a fool if y'all shop in that man's store. Y'all would be a fool, because this man has done this 3 times. The other 2 times the people were blessed, but this particular time this young man was not, and they said he's not guilty. I wanted the jury know he has been doing this over the past years. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? He might be in the wrong line of business, because to me, the convenience store is the most safest business you can be in if you're the owner, because all the stuff is insured. Insurance covers all that stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. And people that manage the store tell you when people steal it, they can write it off. So is it the fact that he just like to pume at people or whatever? I don't know. But like I said, his store should be out of business, because you would be a fool to shop in a store with a man that assumes people coming in there sometimes are stealing or whatever, and instead of him trying to, just say, get out of my store or call the police, he takes it upon himself to unalive people.
Here in America in 2026, Black Americans are going through a very weird time in America, okay? We have the YT people who have had a history of suppressing, deleting, and basically just making sure that Black Americans never are equal or have the opportunities that they have. In 2026, now we have immigrants who have not been in this country longer than Black Americans, right? Multiple groups, but they all seem to hate Black Americans. It's very weird because Black Americans have had no power to disrespect, demoralize any country in American existence. But yet, Black Americans are the enemy of so many different groups of people, including the Asians that are here in America right now. I just want to remind them, or not even remind, I want the Asians who see this to think about, what have Black people done to your people? I'll give you the answer. Absolutely nothing, right? And I want to remind you guys that World War II, the U.S. firebombed numerous cities of yours, right? They dropped 2 atomic bombs on your ancestors. Black Americans had zero control over that. But yet you guys are here in America today in 2026 and you don't like us. Weird. Okay, we'll just leave that there. Okay, North Korea, the Korean War, massive U.S.-led bombing campaigns. Yes, millions of Korean civilian casualties occurred during that war. Vietnam, right? 1955 to 1975, extensive bombing campaigns, use of Agent Orange and other things to get whatever they needed done over there. But Black people, no. But yet in 2026, it seems as the entire Asian community has a strong dislike for a group of people who never did shit to them. It's very weird to me. Asians, please answer in the comments. Okay? Did Black Americans, sign the check or check off the box when it was time to fucking nuke you guys in Japan? No, it wasn't us. But yet you guys today hate us, but you love the people who bombed you. It's very weird. Very weird.
You shoot a kid straight in their back after chasing them for 130 yards and somehow get found not guilty?
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chi Rick Chow, as to a charge of murder, not guilty. Sign number.
He was found not guilty for the shooting and killing of Cyrus Carmack Belton. Just to be clear, in 2023, Cyrus entered the store, was suspected of stealing a bottle of water, exited the store, chased for 130 yards by Chow and his son, shot in the back and died on scene. While Cyrus did not steal anything, he did have a gun inside his jacket, which was mistaken for stolen goods. One thing I do think played a huge role in this case was the fact that prosecution only put a murder charge on the table. Chow's entire defense was that Cyrus pulled a gun on his son, so he shot him to defend his son. The jury wasn't convinced beyond reasonable doubt that it wasn't self-defense, then they're not going to convict him of murder. If there are no lesser charges offered on the table, it's either going to be murder or not guilty. That might have been the prosecution's biggest mistake in this case. Wasn't the first time Mr. Chow shot at a suspected shoplifter, just the first time it was fatal.
Protesters outraged about the Rick Chow murder trial not guilty verdict, letting their signs and voices
Justice for Cyrus
be seen and heard. For many, this case has been personal from the very beginning.
We've been involved in the situation from the very beginning, from the day that Cyrus was murdered.
Jerome Bowers, a part of the many protesters who say they believe the verdict represents a failure of the justice system.
We're going to stand in the gap for children who are losing their lives unjustly.
The shock and emotions flooding in after the verdict Monday as the cries of Carmack Belton's family filled the courtroom. Rick Chow's wife also getting emotional as they took the handcuffs off her husband. Meanwhile, a call for change now filling the streets. A memorial for Carmack Belton placed where he was shot, 130 yards from the gas station, now surrounded by flowers and water bottles. Chow and his son suspected Carmack Belton stole a water bottle from their store in 2023, which turned out to be false.
So today, instead of a sign, Michelle Fletcher was holding a bottle of water up in the air.
This is what they valued his body at and chasing him for because they thought that he had a bottle of water. And I just feel like his value is so much more than this.
As this protest has grown, so have RCSD deputies patrolling the gas station. They now have gates up to block off the area. An RCSD spokesperson says the new gas station owner decided to close down after yesterday's verdict until further notice.
If y'all really want to show people that y'all care about Cyrus, don't walk into no more nail salons. Don't walk into the beauty supply store. Get whatever you need off of Amazon. Do not shop at these Asian liquor stores. Halt all your business with Asian businesses. We need to really start showing niggas that we not fucking with y'all if y'all not fucking with us. This man just got non-guilty for putting a bullet in a young black man's back over water he didn't steal. Do not walk into any Asian businesses. For the next 60 days, fuck 30. Let's try to do that. Try to go to the Russians. Try to go somewhere else to get your nails done. Go get your liquor somewhere else. Do not support any Asian businesses this month. If we stick together, we can show that our fucking money matters. Because I don't understand what...
You shoot a kid straight in their back after chasing them for 130 yards and somehow get found not guilty?
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chike Rick Chow, as to a charge of murder, not guilty. Sign number...
He was found not guilty for the shooting and killing of Cyrus Carmack Belton. Just to be clear, in 2023, Cyrus entered the store, was suspected of stealing a bottle of water, exited the store, chased for 130 yards by Chow and his son, shot in the back and died on scene. While Cyrus did not steal anything, he did have a gun inside his jacket, which was mistaken for stolen goods. One thing I do think played a huge role in this case was the fact that prosecution only put a murder charge on the table. Chow's entire defense was that Cyrus pulled a gun on his son, so he shot him to defend his son. The jury wasn't convinced beyond reasonable doubt that it wasn't self-defense, then they're not going to convict him of murder. If there are no lesser charges offered on the table, it's either going to be murder or not guilty. That might have been the prosecution's biggest mistake in this case. Wasn't the first time Mr. Chow shot at a suspected shoplifter, just the first time it was fatal.
Everybody mad about what I'm saying, but you mean to tell me all these black people go against the nigga who's speaking up for niggas and side with that? All these black people mad at me about what I said about them Asian folk, homie. Johnny Dang and now another Chinese motherfucker ain't never done nothing for us, homie. They didn't cry when Tamir Rice died. They didn't stand up with Mike Brown. Nigga, even from the time they was building the railroad through the Pacific, and one of them had Burlington Northern on the side. The niggas was building the Burlington Northern, the Asians was building Pacific, trying to race to meet in the middle. Nigga, they didn't fuck with us. Even in our stores, nigga. Our kids can't go in their stores and just shop freely. Leave your backpacks at the door. You know, come in here. Nigga, they do our kids bad. And they sell stale candy, outdated food to our people, and they will kill our children behind that stale candy. Nigga, they shot Latasha Harlan in the head. Nigga, we still ain't done nothing about that. How the fuck they get a pass, nigga? And somebody do something to them bitches, and within 1 year of a president, these bitches got all kind of laws enacted. 1-800, nigga, baddest niggas been done in this country, homie. And they ain't never spoke one time for us. They Chinese rappers can come over here and go nigga, 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 nigga. And then when they get mad at us, they can also say fuck you, nigga. We can't say fuck you, gook. We don't even know how to speak their language to disrespect them. So they come take on our culture. China Mac, Johnny Dang, they get to be niggas, huh? And when a nigga say, nah, fuck you, Chinese boy, go rap in your language. Until y'all get something back y'all been taking, nigga. Y'all don't even hire us. Go look at any Chinese restaurant, any Chinese store. See if a nigga working anywhere, my nigga. See if a half-breed motherfucker working. Nigga, they'll go learn Spanish before they learn how to talk to a nigga. So, man, no, how he get that, nigga? Nigga, we supposed to be boycotting Johnny Dang. We supposed to shame every goddamn black rapper, take their black dollar to that nigga. I'm sorry, to that Chinese motherfucker, whatever the fuck he is. He ain't no nigga. But fuck him. My nigga. Hey, my nigga. Hey, he got so much money. He's so rich. He telling us this white boy way richer than y'all. I'm making this white boy shit. You niggas, that's what he said. And you niggas clapping. Man, I'm sick of these niggas, homie.
Protesters outraged about the Rick Chow murder trial not guilty verdict, letting their signs and voices
Justice for Cyrus
be seen and heard. For many, this case has been personal from the very beginning.
We've been involved in the situation from the very beginning, from the day that Cyrus was murdered.
Jerome Bauer is a part of the many protesters who say they believe the verdict represents a failure of the justice system.
We're going to stand in the gap for children who are losing their lives unjustly.
The shock and emotions flooding in after the verdict Monday as the cries of Carmack Belton's family filled the courtroom. Rick Chow's wife also getting emotional as they took the handcuffs off her husband. Meanwhile, a call for change now filling the streets. A memorial for Carmack Belton placed where he was shot, 130 yards from the gas station, now surrounded by flowers and water bottles. Chow and his son suspected Carmack Belton stole a water bottle from their store in 2023, which turned out to be false. So today, instead of a sign, Michelle Fletcher was holding a bottle of water up in the air.
This is what they valued his body at and chasing him for because they thought that he had a bottle of water. And I just feel like his value is so much more than this.
As this protest has grown, so have RCSD deputies patrolling the gas station. They now have gates up to block off the area. An RCSD spokesperson says the new gas station owner decided to close down after yesterday's verdict until further notice.
Now, we spoke with the current owners of that gas station, and they're making it clear that they are not connected to Chow and have owned the property since November of 2023.
They sent a statement reading in part, quote, "We have never had and do not have any relationship, association, or ties whatsoever with the Chow family. We are completely new owners of this property and were not involved in any events that may have occurred prior to our ownership," end quote. You can read the full statement on our website right now at WISTV.com.
For Rick Chow, a verdict of not guilty. For Cyrus Carmack Belton's family, a verdict they never thought possible. The ex-store clerk was charged in May 2023 for the shooting death of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton.
I am devastated. I cannot believe that the jury came back with a not guilty.
Jurors deliberated for roughly 8 hours, sending the judge 4 questions, including one asking for clarification of South Carolina's definition of malice, a key element prosecutors needed to prove murder.
Just because somebody's killed, that does not necessarily mean that they were murdered under the law. So that's the situation here. It's tragic.
Attorney Carl B. Grant, not involved in the case, says the jury's questions suggest they were working through both the facts presented at trial and how those facts fit into state law. The racially diverse jury had only 2 options, guilty or not guilty of murder. No lesser included charge like manslaughter was presented.
Everybody has to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you can present a very convincing and compelling argument as to why the jury should not convict, then of course, if they buy that argument, the person can be acquitted.
Carmack Belton's parents say they're left with even more questions now.
This is like another setback for young black males, black and brown males everywhere. It's just like you just can't get justice nowhere. You can't see it any other way.
My son was running away. He was shot in the back. I tried to have faith in the justice system, but they have failed Cyrus. They failed my baby.
And Chow, through his attorneys, declined to comment today.
Less than 24 hours ago, a Richland County jury found Rick Chow not guilty of murder. But the decision has many people asking questions.
Yeah, one of those questions, how jurors weigh the evidence and the law. The state says that Rick Chow, the former Columbia gas station owner, chased 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton from his Park Lane Road store. Prosecutors argued he shot him in the back. The defense says the team pointed a gun at Chow's son Andy, who was also included in the chase, and Chow fired the fatal shot to protect his son, while prosecutors had a different story.
Jurors deliberated for roughly 8 hours before the not guilty verdict was read. During their discussions, they sent the judge 4 questions, including one asking for clarification on South Carolina's definition of malice. That's a key element the prosecutors had to prove to secure a murder conviction. Veteran defense attorney Carl B. Grant, not involved in that case, says the jury's questions suggest that they're working through both the facts presented at trial and how those facts fit into South Carolina law. The racially diverse jury had only two options: guilty or not guilty of murder. No lesser charge included. A charge such as manslaughter was off the table in this case. Meanwhile, Grant says that this likely reflects the strong positions of both sides.
You may assume that you have a rock-solid case. Keep in mind, everybody has to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you can present a very convincing and compelling argument as to why the jury should not convict, then, of course, if they buy that argument, the person can be acquitted.
Well, Chow, through his attorneys, declined to comment. Arlena Allen did attempt to get a statement from him today at his home. She says a woman peeked through the peephole but did not respond. WIS did speak with Cyrus's parents today. You'll hear a part of that interview and their reaction from the verdict coming up at 5 and 6.
Lena Allen here at the Shell gas station on Park Lane Road, where protesters have gathered shouting justice for Cyrus after a verdict came down last night with the jury finding Rick Chow, who was charged in his murder, not guilty. And Cyrus Carmack Belton, he was shot and killed outside the Shell gas station in 2023. And protesters here say that the system has failed them. And so they'll be out here until the late night hours. They actually started protesting late last night, and we'll continue to bring you more coverage.
A child, a 14-year-old child shot dead in Richland County, got no justice.
Cyrus's dad, too distraught to speak, but stood beside his attorney, Todd Rutherford, who says the system has failed this family.
The anger is palpable tonight. You can feel it, you can touch it.
257? Yes. Is it still your verdict?
Yes. The emotions in this case resurfacing. In fact, as we were interviewing Rutherford, Chow's family walked out of court as a group of angry people voiced their shock and frustration. Earlier, the state argued that the case was about the value of human life and that Cyrus feared for his life as Rick Chow and his son chased him out of the store with a gun. Chow's defense team argued Chow was defending himself and his son, as Carmack Belton also had a loaded gun on him. Chow's son testified that he pointed the gun at him, prompting Chow to shoot him.
We just think that the jury sliced it the right way with Andy Chow coming out of the store, thinking and having a reasonable suspicion that he may have taken something.
In the end, the jury sided with the defense. Rutherford says while people have the right to be angry about the verdict, he's encouraging everyone to use their voices rather than reacting any other way.
What I can tell you is that this should not have happened, that it's an unbelievable situation, but it is one that unfortunately we have to deal with as best we can.
Chow has been released. Swirling says Chow has since sold the gas station and has no plans to go back into business.
Obviously, on behalf of the Chows, we're very pleased at the jury's deliberations and their verdict. We think it was the appropriate verdict in this case, although it was a difficult decision to come to, because you have two different stories, two extreme differences. You have, on the one hand, Mr. Chow, who we always contended was defending his son. He was not trying to hurt the young man. On the other side, you had the young man who had a semi-automatic pistol and pulled it. And our position is he pointed it at Andy Chow, and his father had to defend his son. And it's tragic. Feel sorry for the family. As I said during my opening statement, my heart goes out to them, but 14-year-old kids should not be roaming the streets of Columbia or South Carolina with semi-automatic pistols loaded and ready to fire.
The anger is palpable tonight. You can feel it, you can touch it, because people saw a child that looked like their own, that did nothing wrong, a child that all the witnesses described had fear in his eyes when he left the store. And then he started to run as two grown men chased him down over a football field and shot him dead. This should not happen. This makes us feel as if our children don't matter, and they do. This makes us feel like Cyrus's life did not matter, and it did. What you see tonight is going to be the anger, and what we ask is that that anger not turn into anything else but words, to go online, to talk about it, to discuss it, but not to act like what people in their evil minds think that we are. We are certainly better than that. Cyrus was better than that. His family is better than that.
Number 2023 GS 40-07440. State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Chike Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chike Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Fine number 302, foreperson, June the 1st, 2026. Madam Forelady, was this your verdict and the verdict of the entire jury?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Thank you. Madam Forelady and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to ask you 2 questions relating to your verdict. Please answer yes or no to each. Number 302, was this your verdict?
Yes, it was.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Number 2, was this your verdict? 257?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 63, was this your verdict? Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 208, was this your verdict? 208. Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 226, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 329, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 222, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 164, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 21, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 204, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 232, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 259, was this your
Why this lady Uber? Damn, I did that! Oh, y'all running like our black ass, so that's dude's 19. Oh, hell no. Okay. I hope she got that on camera. We still gonna burn the store down. I'm not. It's really, I'm sorry, man. If you got kids who understand,